Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart-Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast, Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's only one story. The Only One in the Room has a wide variety of guests, from prisoners to abuse survivors to swingers. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee that Only One in the Room will have a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone.
Contained herein are the heresies of Radolf Buntwine, erstwhile monk turned traveling medical investigator. Join me as I study the secrets of the divine plagues and uncover the blasphemous truth that ours is not a loving God, and we are not its favored children. The heresies of Radolf Buntwine, wherever podcasts are available.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Bravo Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Bravo Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Bravo Bros.
Good job.
Hi, welcome to another episode of
But Am I Wrong?
I love how you quite literally told me it was happening and I still got startled. Let me check my heart rate. See what I'm doing. Maybe I need a beta blocker. Welcome. This is a wonderful podcast where we, two girlies who have so much fun, are going to talk about a plethora of things. It can range from current events, pop culture, your gossip in your life, our gossip in our own life, talking shit, talking more shit, talking about things we love, talking about things and people that we hate. And it's a grand old time. We have 3 different segments on the show. We will explain each one of them before we get into it. But what you need to know is we want you to participate. So after this episode is up, we then go on our Instagram stories and we post slides on the story of all the things that we talked about. And we want you to vote for who you think was wrong in each circumstance and situation. And then write in the little replies. Oh, now I'm going to say little bitty replies right in there.
They won't get it yet.
They
won't get it till Thursday.
Unless you are people who see me and you go, I don't know what you're talking about, but I know I fucking hate that song. Anyways, and you will tell us why you voted that way, your thoughts, your feelings about that specific thing. And then we read those all on our See You Next Tuesday episode. And we read the results along with your thoughts and feelings. And you're allowed to disagree with us. That is totally fine. You're not allowed to be a bigot unless you've changed the term for being a bigot and it's you hating Mike Pence. Okay.
Or you just use it as homie. I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
We can't either. Mons and I say it anytime someone says something mean, we go, but did you mean that like homie? And now picture 140 pounds, maybe 25-year-old cop. Most of the weight is from the gel in his hair. He literally thinks he's on Reno 911 saying that. And I go,
and I could see them saying that. And
oh my God, yes. I could see them getting back in the car and going like, sup, my.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I should rewatch that show. What a classic.
We also have video versions of this. So if you want to see our beautiful, gorgeous faces, but mostly also see our reactions, you can head over to our Patreon. We also do live streams there twice a month. So excited we're doing one. It'll already have passed, but don't worry. They happen twice a month.
We're going to do it when they're listening to it. We're going to have to do it tomorrow because it's the end of the month. And that would be our second one.
If you are brand new here or you forgot, we do live in Los Angeles. So it has been a high tension, evacuating, re-evacuating kind of back and forth sort of thing for the last couple of weeks.
Mental health shot.
It is bad.
Also physical health.
Bad. poor. I would rate that pretty low. And so yeah, that's you can join us for those. They're very fun. And if you're like, what the hell is that? We upload them afterwards, so you can see on the Patreon. Get a vibe check. It's great. You can make lots of new friends there. It's wonderful, especially if you are deconstructing from that one podcast and you're like, "But how am I going to handle it?" We can give you friends and people, and you can have a whole community.
Here we don't toast, we cheers.
Yeah, and none of them voted for Trump. And you're like, how can you guarantee that?
100. I can show you.
We don't go based on assumptions. We vet.
Mm-hmm.
We vet hard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
all today our color families have gone together.
We look like Easter right now, and I'm loving it.
Lakers.
We look like cutie girl Lakers. We look like a cap sleeve V-neck for women Lakers shirt. That's not nice titties, girl.
Thanks. Look,
check the Patreon out for those. It is wholly unfair that you can. She's literally just sitting and showing you her titties. Like, I'm not kidding. You guys are gonna love that. The fact that you can work out and like your boobs are the same, and then your ass gets better is insane to me. Also, by the way, if Melisa bends down twice in one day, she's like, "Oh, my ass is bigger." Like, it is not fair.
But also, I have been to the point where I did lose it, and then it came back, and now it's not leaving, and I'm working out more than ever.
Yeah, but you also
not more than ever because I can't go run outside. But
no,
it was never flat. It's never been flat. But
no, she doesn't know that struggle that we have.
People are like, who is we? But
I mean, white people. That's how we can promise you that that this podcast, you're never going to catch us going. You're not going to catch us using certain words to say, homie. We're not like them.
All right. Well, what is this show?
I already said kind of that. So we usually switch on and off about who goes first and then, whatever. We haven't done this in so long.
I just told you.
Oh, you figured it out?
Yeah, I said you went first.
Oh, okay. So then you go.
We haven't done this show since the 20-something. So it's been a full month.
I haven't seen y'all since last year.
So I go first. Our first segment is But Am I Wrong? That's when we pick something from our lives that we may be wrong about, or it might just be a rant, or it might just be something that we're like, more people need to talk about. Here's mine. And I feel like it might be a little controversial for our listeners.
Is it going to be mine?
I don't think so.
Okay.
This was a thought I had in regards to this show. And I, for one, am not in a good mental space. As a person, I'm in a great mental space. And a mental space where it comes to this nation as a whole, I am not. I'm still, when I talked about ignoring things, I'm not ignoring. I'm well aware of everything that's going on. But I am so pissed to the point where I could just have a whole show where I'm going off about politics. And that anger is not healthy for me.
And it's not productive.
And it's not productive. There's nothing really I can do because this administration said what they were going to do. It was laid out in a full plan. And now people are acting shocked when on day one, things automatically happen. He said he was going to do this. What did you think?
Mm-hmm.
So I am wondering how y'all feel about But Are They Wrong? If I just take a little hiatus, it can be for, maybe I'll give it 2 months. Let me get through my birthday. 2 months. And I'm just talking about pop culture shit. Today, I won't. But after in 2 months, that's all I'm going to talk about. So just hang with me. Would I be wrong to do that?
No, not at all. I am also deeply inclined to opt in to that as well. Because literally, like, even for today, I had like written down like 2 different options of being like, I guess I can talk about this, or I can do something that is like, some shit that's happening somewhere else in like the pop culture or like internet sphere that like this person sucks, but like, yeah, they're not doing Nazi salute on stage. Like it is something that it's like this, we're inundated with that to the point where like, I feel I feel like the panic that we're experiencing is a little too late.
Yep.
And it's like, that's why we were panicked. That's why we're panicked. And I will say that I saw Hope Walls did a TikTok, and someone was like, you know, why are you so happy or whatever? And she was like, I think happiness and like finding joy and like doing things you love is like an act of resistance at this point. And like, I think that to negate all of that and like to just be on fight or flight like all the time for something that I can't necessarily control. So much of what's at stake and what is being attacked is like our rights and like, you know, the right to do what you want, the right, whatever, all of that stuff. And like, you know, sometimes finding joy and doing things that bring you joy amidst absolute hellscape while you're still being a conscious voter and voting in the midterms and voting in your local elections and all of that stuff
and
is
being tapped in. Like, I'm going to a meeting with Governor Newsom on Saturday. Like, I'm tapped in. I just need a space where this is not part of my life for a moment.
Yeah. And this is a perfect escape for that.
And
I think that like, you know, there's the daily and there's all of that other stuff that like you're allowed to have a break from. You're allowed to, I think, seeking out content that's not like we all do it. You watch the Great British Bake Off, you watch reality show, you seek out content that you're like, I'm not going to watch, I don't know, a Jeff Bezos reality show where I'm like, I'm not going to be like funding the pockets of someone who's doing something a hee hee ha ha, but I know that their morals don't align with what I align with. But like, yeah, sometimes wanting to enjoy something fun from someone who, you know, didn't vote against your rights is like, I think is a perfectly wonderful thing to do. And I think on our side of it, making that content, we are allowed to also have escapism.
Great.
So you're not wrong at all.
Thank you.
So my hot take, if you are not from California or Los Angeles, or you have not lived here and specifically currently live here, I need you to unkindly and disrespectfully shut the fuck up before I make you. The way that I am so goddamn fucking annoyed, the amount of people who are trying to, in their terms, because this is how I know they're not from here, they would say, Cali-splain, California to me. Melissa, I am getting irate. Someone's like, if you, specifically, this literally all conspiracy theories set aside, which it's hard to, because considering it's all that. It's the rampant amount of misinformation. The amount of people who've like commented on my shit being like, you don't think it's suspicious that every fire broke out at the exact same time in perfect circle? And I go, that would be suspicious if that happened.
Didn't happen.
That's not what happened. You're looking at a heat map from someone on TikTok? Okay, how about you hop on the app where it tells you when the fires happen? How about you, like, it is...
Use Google.
Like, literally. And it's like, people are like, no, I saw this on the news. And I go to their profile and they're from Iowa. And I go, you saw on Iowa news about local you didn't see any. And they're like, no, I saw this happen on the news. People started sending me Whitney Cummings, which I can't stand. Started sending me Whitney Cummings her TikTok or Instagram as a cited source because she said somebody called her and said that they were pretty sure that somebody saw someone maybe pouring gasoline in a sewer. And that was their source for being like, Meghan, there's proof of people pouring gasoline in sewers. And it's a video of Whitney Cummings where someone called her saying, someone told me that they think this might have happened.
That reminds me of the episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, same area, so relevant, where Will was trying to make some money. So he was going around taking pictures of people that lived in his neighborhood. And he took a picture of Jay Leno. It was actually Jay Leno pouring something down a drain outside. And they were saying it was oil. And it was like from his cars that he has in his garage. But it was just coffee. And that's what that reminds me of. And he has sold that to a National Enquirer type magazine.
It's just like so fucking crazy to me because I'm like, why do you think you know my city better than I do? And then like literally it's like fucking Leo Skeppy, who by the way does not live in Los Angeles. He lives in Texas. And this man has talked about how he quite literally got on the internet and talked about how he plotted an entire murder to kill everyone his ex like loved, and even including animals, including random people he worked with, including stranger. It was insane. It was a beyond a red flag. Like it was, this is source for massive concern. And he's getting on here saying, now that he said this about 2 weeks ago, now that the fires are over, congratulations, you survived. I'm so sorry. The fires are not over. Mm-mm. The fires are not, it's not under control. It's not over. It's basically saying that this is now the purge for, in his words, this is the homeless people. This is like, they've been waiting for this moment, all of this stuff. He's implying that homeless people are going to rob and rape you. Insane. Fucking insane. Saying looting houses, all of this kind of shit. And I made a stitch to this other girl, finna be in the pit. And
girl?
Yeah.
Specifically?
And the way I also get mad, because I go, you can't be talking stupid shit about California and then use the term finna. Do you even know where you came from? Do you know where that, like, I was like, shut the fuck up. So fucking annoyed. And she basically was like, yeah, he's the right. Like, it's really scary. And everyone's like, you're in a multi-million-dollar home. And she talked about like, well, I used to live near Hollywood Boulevard, all of this shit. And then people are commenting on my videos being like, you actually don't know. And like, if you've actually ever lived in LA or if you've lived near anyone who's homeless, like you wouldn't be freaked out. Like California is crazy. And I was like, I grew up in the Bay Area and then I moved to Los Angeles. The only two places I have lived are the places that are regarded with having two of the worst problems and the overrun, absolute immense amount of people who are experiencing homelessness. I was going to San Francisco by myself at 11 to 12 years old. What do you mean I don't know what this is like? Like, it is just fucking insane to me. And people being like, well, you don't. I was like, you don't know. You've never lived in a major city. You're telling me I've never experienced this. You never have. You never have. You've seen people talk about it on fucking TV. You've seen the Oogie Boogie Man. You've seen all of this crazy stuff that, like, you've never experienced that. You've never lived by that. You've never had any of that. Like, it is absolutely fucking insane to me. And just hearing people talk about it. And then even in the sense of like, oh my gosh, all of these things are happening. Someone tried to say Gavin Newsom got on the news and he said that he started the fires. I went, no, he didn't.
He would be arrested if he started a fire.
The way I'm like, I'm so sorry, Shelby. Do you think you, Shelby from Maryland, who saw this clip on TikTok, do you think you're the only person you're the one holding this information? I gotta tell somebody. I'm like, if nobody is coming to a conclusion but you, with your singular degree education, go, I've actually figured this whole thing out. Okay, call up NASA. We got a genius on our hands. Like, what the fuck do you mean that like people aren't seeing the real? He did not get on the news and say that at all. And she goes, no, he said like, the fires that like are fires in California. I go, yeah, he's the governor of California. They are our fires. He's not saying these are my fires. I started them with 2 sticks in my hands and now I am there. They call me daddy. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It just...
The critical thinking thing, I
don't even need them to think critically. I need them to think at all. Someone left me a legitimate comment that says, because it has to do with thinking. They said, here's an idea. Don't think. I fear that might not be a choice that you have. I fear that you can't opt into the thinking. What do you mean? Or then people being like, oh, like science is never right. None of it. It's just so fucking crazy to me to see people who are so boldly and so loudly saying the most, like, your science teachers would be so disappointed. Like, it is just, we've gotten rid of any sort of critical thinking skills in that. And what pisses me off is like, yeah, there's the bigots who like think that California is whatever, conspiracy theories and all of that kind of shit. But what pisses me off is people who think that they are immune to propaganda, who are then participating in propaganda about this because they don't view themselves as those kinds of people. But like, they're like, wow, this is just like, do you think you think this is about the Olympics? And I go, do I think California set itself on fire because of the Olympics? The amount of people who didn't know about the winds, they go, well, you do think this is all arson? And I go, I don't care if it's arson. When there are 120 mile an hour winds and people are like, wait, that's like a tornado. And I go, I know.
No shit. They call it a windstorm.
What the fuck are you on about? Like, it just makes me so mad. And then the same people who are not.
What are you on about? I like that. I've never heard that expression before.
It makes me want to like take people's squishy brains and just
wring it out.
Melisa, I want to stretch it. I want to snap it over my knee. I want to throw it into the washing machine. I want to take it in a butter churn. I want to remold that. And I want to say, don't fucking touch that for 7 to 10 days until it fully gets ready. And then put that back in your head, you fucking imbecile. It makes me so. And then the people being like, oh, I don't have sympathy for the people. All of this kind of shit, talking out of their ass about it. And even people who vote like progressive and all of this kind of stuff. But like, you are participating in starting from bot behavior of bots who are trying to compare this to Asheville and comparing this to Gaza and all of that. That is not coming from people who are from Asheville. That is not coming from people who are from Gaza. Those are coming from bots paid for conservatives to try and get liberals to turn on each other and then have a common enemy. And in that enemy, it is the poors and the Middle East. That is who they want you to hate them so fucking much, even though you're closer to the poors. All of this shit. And just seeing people regurgitate that kind of stuff. And it's like, I do need you to kindly shut the fuck up about this. You can offer your support. You can offer your condolence, like all of that stuff. Like, I hope you're okay. All of that. But like any sort of judgment, and especially judgment from people whose natural disasters that they experience are not fires, to compare the two it makes me so, the amount of people who are like, you're a fucking idiot for not evacuating sooner, you're a fucking idiot for not evacuating. You had all of the, or even people who are like, I don't feel bad for people who didn't evacuate. And I'm like, this isn't, they're like, we have tornado warning, we have hurricane stuff. I go, it is not the same. It is not the same. It's not the same at all. And like, people are like, I can't believe people in the Palisades left their cars. And then they can't even get up there. That's horrible. I go, they told them to leave their cars. Fire is chasing them. They're picking their kids up and running on foot away from the fire. To look at this of like, oh, privilege, like whatever, makes me so mad. It is not like the anti-capitalist take to be completely void of any sort of empathy for coastal California, because you are upset that rich people live there. Poor people also live here. And I wish people would understand the history of California. California was not immigration. This is not like a level of, oh, rich people have always lived here. No, not the case. So from someone born and raised here, I'm allowed to talk shit. It's like me, I'm allowed to talk shit on my own grandma if she does something. Mm-hmm. You're not allowed to talk shit on my grandma. And so help me God, even if you live in Los Angeles and you want to blame the weather on Karen Bass, boy, oh boy, you are falling for Rick Caruso's actual bullshit, the man who employed private firefighters, to save his precious little shopping mall.
Or you live in Calabasas. You also supported Rick Caruso. And I talked about this on a But Am I Wrong? Why are you talking about the mayor of a place that you do not live in?
Let alone the mayor of a place that you can't vote for and isn't even your fire department.
Nope. I'm talking about Kim Kardashian.
All of them. Khloe, all of them said shit.
All of them.
All of them. Also, by the way, they've used up a record amount of water, by the way. Keep their gardens nice and green.
Right. But they're talking about the fire that was in Calabasas and blaming Karen Bass when that has nothing to do with her. Karen Bass is not the mayor of Calabasas. Neither was Rick Caruso running for mayor of Calabasas. So if you want him to be your mayor so much, make him the mayor of Calabasas.
Mm-hmm. And if you see people from the Palisades who are talking massive shit on Karen Bass for this, please also know, sure, this might be a conspiracy theory. It's not really, because, we know. The Palisades wants to get out of LA City. They want to be their own city so fucking bad. They have wanted for a long ass time. And LA is like, no, you don't have, you're 99% residential. Where are you getting your sales tax? There's no fucking reason for this. It doesn't make sense. They want their own police force for nothing. There's nothing there. People are like, homeless people started the fires there. Do you think they let homeless people into the Pacific Palisades?
No.
It's essentially an HOA, by the way. Like that's vast majority of it is like that. And I'm like, you should just be an HOA. That's a lot better. But like, there is a lot of, anger when you're like, oh, well, people from California are coming at her really angry. Those are people from the Pacific Palisades who are trying to get Rick Caruso elected because they are trying to break off the Palisades to be their own city. They don't want to be a part of Santa Monica, which, by the way, would make the most fucking sense.
It would make so much sense. It's right there, and they have everything that they need.
And Santa Monica's already its own separate city, so you would think join Santa Monica instead of going, no, we don't like that because they let homeless people be there. We don't want that. genuinely move to Beverly Hills or shut the fuck up.
All right. Well, we're going to take a break, and we get back. We'll get into But Are You Wrong? And you're not wrong, Meghan.
If you are caught up in the Barbenheimer frenzy, if you love ranking the Mission Impossible films, if you are just an all-around movie fan, I have a podcast for you. Hello, I'm Amy Nicholson. I'm a film critic who writes for the New York Times, and I am also the co-host of Unspooled, the ultimate movie podcast. Each week, my co-host Paul Scheer and I unspool famous films to see if they're truly all-time classics. From the original 1984 Karate Kid to Children of Men to more recent pictures to Dune, yes, to Citizen Kane, we cover it all. Listen to Unspooled wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone, so we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Hi, I'm Sarah Gabrielli, and I've traveled to every single lesbian bar in the country for my podcast, Cruising. Each episode of Cruising features a different space and tells the stories of the humans that run it and the humans that call it home. You can listen to Cruising on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Season 1 and 2 are available now, so be sure to binge them before Season 3, which will go beyond the bars to queer bookstores, farms, peace encampments, and more, premiering February 4th.
All right, we're back. And it's time for But Are You Wrong? That's when y'all write and let us know about predicaments in your life that you may be facing, some hardships, or you just decide to be naughty and you want to know, was I too naughty? And we'll let you know.
Why do you say naughty?
Naughty.
Naughty.
Let me put it back down on my tits. Naughty.
Oh. You guys, she's actually showing you her tits. This is not clickbait.
I got lost in my own tits. Yeah, you can, if you would like to participate, then send us an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. You can keep it to, you should keep it to 300 words or less. Let us know your pronouns if you'd like. Let us definitely know your age, and make up fake names for everyone involved. If it's fictional or real people, you're casting it with a real person, or fictional characters, please make sure it makes sense to the story.
Mm-hmm.
Because
you can tell us they're fake names and they can be real names, but
yeah, we just gotta make sure that
keep the story straight.
We're inferring the right things about what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, first up, my fiance, 31, he, him, and I, 29, she, her, have been together for 6 years and are newly engaged. My fiance has always struggled with his relationship with his toxic parent, 60 years old. To give a recent example
I love when people like talk about like they give like the old people's age. That's like my favorite part. Where it's like my parent, 65, and I go, lovely. At a certain point, I know your age, unless you say they were a teen parent. But I do love like just so you give the right advice. They are 60.
Like that person that wrote in for Don't Blame Me was like, my mom is like Melissa's age.
I'm like loving the reference point. So funny.
To give a recent example of their toxicity, they knowingly gave us COVID 2 days before Thanksgiving and didn't tell us until after we tested positive. His parents are also Trump Republicans who can't even pretend to care about anything going on in their son's life. In short, they belittle us, regularly lie, and yet insist there is nothing more important than family. We have started talking about wedding plans, and my fiance does not love the idea of a wedding where he reads his vows in front of a large group of people, some who he cares about immensely, namely our friends, and others whose presence would barely be tolerated, namely his parents. He worries a wedding may feel performative and insecure. I tend to agree. However, I do want the big party. We have an idea to plan a secret ceremony with just two of us sometime before the planned wedding, and then do the whole ceremony over for the crowd. Insert reference to Jim and Pam from The Office. This way we both get what we want, the intimate ceremony without his parents and the big party where family and friends don't feel like they missed out on watching us get married. Would we be wrong for having a secret ceremony prior to the wedding? We live in a state that does not require a witness to be present. No.
I don't know why his parents are even invited to the party. They don't sound like good party people.
No. They might bring COVID to everybody. I don't think there's anything wrong with this. I also know numerous people that have done this, even if they do get along with their family. They do it because they just want something intimate between them and their partner. And then they throw the party, which you have always said the wedding is having a wedding in itself is just a party.
Mm-hmm.
The ceremony is about you and your partner.
Yep. So
I see absolutely nothing wrong with this. And what I do see wrong is why would you waste money? But by waste money, I mean like on drinks, food, whatever, on people you don't want to be there. Why can't you just have a party for people you actually want there?
And why would you subject other people to these people? Like, I think about in the sense of like, you know, from a health standpoint, if they got people sick, those you might be like, oh God, gotta stay. But like, unless you let every guest know, hey, stay far away from Buchanan. They maliciously gave us COVID. Like, they're not good people. Like, I don't think it's like responsible to have them with other people.
I feel like maliciously giving somebody COVID is the same as other bodily fluids being exchanged in a malicious way, which is
it's abusive.
It's not just abusive, but it's against the law. So they're literally using themselves as a weapon. Why would you bring a weapon to a party?
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like that's low-key bioterrorism, and also maybe not even low-key. So like for me, I think wanting to have a big party is like totally fine. I think this is a very good compromise, but I think you should like really have a conversation with your partner being like, they don't have to come. We don't have to have a relationship with them. You don't have to worry about like my family having like I'll handle the question. I'll do all of that. Like you don't have to, doing that. Like if you want to be done with your family and having this relationship, like we can be done. But like sometimes people like need permission from people who know how badly they're being treated by their family to be like, you don't have to tolerate this. And I think if you're waiting for him to say, I want to cut them off, can be a bit of like, he thinks what they're doing is okay because you're not saying you need to cut them off immediately, because then it becomes, well, then this is probably okay. And like, whatever that is, this is just like fundamentally not okay. And I'll say this again, like, I think like, you're allowed to have a relationship with like bigoted family members within the comfort of your own home or their own home. As soon as you invite other people into that, you are knowingly subjecting other family and friends to that. So in this case, spreading COVID, they're Trump supporters, so racist, like that, like who's coming to, like, racist, it's not just about like
homophobic.
Yeah. Like not just about like, oh, well, I really want to be, he really wants them there at the end of the day. Like, it's kind of like, but like, it'll be uncomfortable for us, but like, we'll deal. You have to think about your guests too. You have to think about who's there. Cause like, I would feel deeply uncomfortable if I am somewhere where I was invited by someone I'm close to, and someone comes up to me coughing, saying, I've got COVID. And I look at the person who invited me, who knew that, and they brought me there. I'm mad at that person now. The person who has COVID or is being a fucking asshole, I don't fucking know them. That's not my, but the person who knowing this, I think it is your responsibility as a host, and a wedding is also, you're still hosting a party. It is your party for like hosting for other people. I think it is important to like make sure you don't invite a bioterrorist to that. And then like, I don't know your life. If Mats and I had a wedding and we decided to invite a racist to our wedding, that would fundamentally change who we are inviting to our wedding. And then we're catering our wedding to a racist and not our actual friends. And so I think that like viewing it from that aspect of like, it is not a victimless crime because you decide to tolerate it doesn't mean everyone else does. And like, these are inside people. These people should not be allowed outside with people who you care about because unfortunately, it will reflect on you, not because you maintain a relationship with them, but because you subjected other people to that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my belief.
I stand with you. All right. You're up, Megan.
Okie dokes. My fiance, 31, he, him, and I, 29, she, her, have been together for 4 years. For Christmas, his parents, early 60s, gifted the two of us a weekend stay in February at a location a few hours away that we've been wanting to visit. We're looking forward to it and really appreciate their generosity. However, the gift also includes a couple's cookie baking / decorating class at 8:30 a.m. the morning after we arrive at the Airbnb. The bakery is 2 hours from our Airbnb, meaning after driving 4 to 5 hours the night before, we would have to wake up early and drive another 2 hours to arrive on time for the class. The whole point of us wanting to visit this location is to have a relaxing weekend in the woods away from home and other people, LOL. Neither my fiance nor I are particularly fond of baking, and we're definitely not morning people, which his parents know. Although I'd honestly rather just cancel the class, I found openings on the bakery website for a virtual class later on the day making sourdough, which we'd be able to do from our Airbnb. Both my fiance and I agreed that this would be a better, more realistic option for us, and we'd be able to easily switch the classes and refund the difference directly to his parents. However, I know it'll hurt his mom's feelings because she's so excited for us to take the cookie class and visit the bakery in person. I don't want to sound ungrateful or disappoint her, but this feels like a chore rather than a gift. She's a sweet woman and very good to me, but she always seems to give gifts targeted towards her own interests and then act sad when people aren't absolutely thrilled. Would we be wrong for switching to the online class? No. And the way you deal with these people is you ignore any reaction that they have because this is a time where your emotions are not valid. Like, if you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to pretend you didn't do that. And I go, yeah, it's really exciting. So what are you watching on TV right now? Like, completely move past it.
We had so much fun making the bread.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just gush about how excited you were to make the bread. Because why would you give somebody something 2 hours away? Why would you do that? She must not know.
Are you going to Paris? Like,
she must not know.
But 8:30 a.m. and also like I would be very curious where you're going because there are only a few times where I go, I love cooking and baking. And one of my favorite things when I travel is I like taking cooking classes.
Mm-hmm.
Am I, with all the valid criticism in the world, am I going to London and saying, let me learn how to make this British food? No. I'm taking a cooking class. I went to a pastry class in Paris. I went to a cooking class in New Orleans. I'm learning how to make gumbo. I'm learning all of these, like, because you and you're like a little cabin in the woods. I go, are you going to Big Sur and then going to like a fucking random bakery? And because like, to me, no, if it's a destination that is about food and that's what you want to do, totally. But otherwise, I think this is like, and I'm someone who likes baking and cooking. I'm only going to want to take a cooking or baking class in some cities, not like a weekend away Airbnb kind of vibe at all. So I think you're not wrong at all, but also you do all of this and then you tell her afterwards. You don't say, oh, we're going to switch to this or whatever. No.
Yeah, what a sweet idea, but it seems like she's trying to live vicariously through you, which, fine, but like, give people things that they want, not just things that you want. And it seems like she does that a lot, is that she's gifting things that she wants and then expecting people to have the same excitement level that she does about it. But this was very unthoughtful. Like, you don't do this.
No.
And maybe she just didn't know that it was that far away. You know, sometimes you look up places and it's like, these are the things that are nearby and on like a travel guide or a travel thing. And to somebody that's been there for, I don't know, a week, that might be something fun to do, but not when you're driving up that day.
Or someone who's been there a bajillion times and like, oh, like I have a fondness for this bakery, so I want to learn how to make. But it's like, but if you've never been, but I also like would ask like, you should be gifting her experience-based gifts like this, and she better be thrilled. And if she's not into it, I think you'll stop getting gifts like this. But also, like, did you say parents plural? If she's married to a straight man, how is her husband? Because this to me also seems like a very neglected wife's passive aggressive way of being like, this is what I would like, but also these are the things I would like I would like my husband to be doing with me. And I want to make sure that this habit happens right now. And you don't get into that place where you are in your 60s and you don't get to do anything you want to do with your husband, experience gifts or whatever. And then, yeah, she's fully projecting what she would want to do on you. So I would really like reflect on that aspect. And like, you can't fix their relationship, but then like the gifts you give her, do experience-based stuff. Like, or even just be like, hey, let's go to the movies. Like, let's do things like that are not just even just for holidays or whatever, that like you can find shared interests. And, you know, I do feel to me, it does not sound like a woman who is in a attentive marriage, which is not your problem, but it's not your fault, but it's also not her fault either. So I think she'll lay off you too if you guys hang out and you take her on a date. You say, we're actually going to get up at 4 a.m. and we're going to open the local bakery.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll get into But Are They Wrong?
Do you love Disney? Then you are going to love our hit podcast, Disney Countdown. I'm Megan, the magical millennial.
And I'm the dapper Danielle.
On every episode of our fun and family-friendly show, we count down our top 10 lists of all things Disney. There is nothing we don't cover.
We are famous for rabbit holes, Disney-themed games, and fun facts you didn't know you needed, but you definitely need in your life. So if you're looking for a healthy dose of Disney magic, check out Disney Countdown wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, do you like true crime? Me too. And I know what you're thinking. There's so many true crime pods out there, you've already heard all the stories. Well, what if I were to tell you you're wrong? I'm Leroy Luna, the host of Excuse Me, That's Illegal, the podcast that takes a hardcore look at softcore crime. I've got a back catalog of hundreds of bizarre and hilarious stories just waiting to be heard by you. So come join me. Excuse Me, That's Illegal is available anywhere you get your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping on the 10th, 20th, and 30th every month, baby!
Bitches on Comics is a bi-monthly interview podcast where we talk to the coolest LGBTQ plus folks and women in comics and pop culture.
Our unique perspectives and welcoming nature have earned us the honor of being named a best comic book podcast by Book Riot, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Comic Book Herald, and Comic Book Couples Counseling.
Bitches on Comics is hosted by moi, Monica Estrella Negra, filmmaker, writer, and co-founder of Audrey's Revenge Film.
And me, Essie Fleenor, comic and pop culture nerd and culture critic with writing in The Independent, Vice, Electric Literature, Star Trek, and so much more.
We're also both voting members of Gallica, the Society of LGBTQ plus Entertainment Critics.
Join Bitches on Comics for in-depth, hilarious, and heartfelt conversations with the likes of Stephanie Williams, Leah Anderson, and the late, great Rachel Pollack.
Listen to Bitches on Comics on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Or tune in at bitchesoncomics.com. New episodes every other Wednesday.
We're back. It's time for our final segment, which is But Are They Wrong?, where we nominate a person, place, or thing, current events, pop culture, someone in the zeitgeist who we think deserves some shit talking. And this could be as big or as niche as whatever. And could I say Elon Musk? Yeah. Could I say are they called the morning toast? I don't know. The toast girls? Yeah. Full mask off, Islamophobic, racist, bigot, horrible. Their mother is a literal terrorist who was cited in a manifesto of a bomber, and she's banned from the UK, the entirety of the UK, all of it. And I could also say whoever left that burned picture of Trump in my yard, but then I wouldn't have gotten the TikTok content. So
you were pissing a lot of people off, and I loved it because I knew that you were loving it too, because if you weren't, you would have stopped. But some people are just idiots.
No, they're so dumb. The Candace Owens ones, I was like, stop tagging Candace Owens in my video, you fucking freaks. I thought the amount of people who were like, your hair is not blonde. And I said, did I ever say I'm a natural level 10 blonde? No. I said, is someone who dyes their hair red, they are at that current moment in time, they have red hair. Like, you guys are so fucking weird. I also loved how many people I pissed off because they thought at some point I pushed my glasses up with my finger on the lens, and I go, I used the side of my finger on the side of it. But people were so fucking mad, and so mad that they said, I can't believe that you think that Donald Trump burned this and dropped this off in your yard. He has other things to do. And I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I had to clarify that. I didn't think that happened. And they were like, well, Gavin lives in California. He probably did it. I said, oh, babe, nowhere in my life did I think any politician
at the time
ran up to my house. And wow, you are so delusional that you actually think that he would show up to your house and give you a big old kiss on the lips, that you thought that one of us is truly unstable. So I could go into all of those, but I don't want to. Instead, I want to talk about...
It's not your turn.
It's not?
No, I've been going first this whole episode.
Oh, you're right. My meds wore off. I immediately was like, usually I always go, I'm assuming it's my turn. And usually if I get to this part in the episode, I'm in the clear.
I know.
Nope, not this time. Okay.
Okay, it's my turn. And this is going to be the last time I'm going to do something political, but it's also in the entertainment field. So it fits. And I think if I say that, you know who I'm talking about. SNOOPD of double G. Snoop Dogg. He is my wrong of the week.
I'm actually taking this harder than I thought I would.
I don't understand. He does not have the excuse of some of these other people that went, even if I still don't think this is an excuse, but broke people that went to perform. Snoop Dogg does not have that. You turn on your TV, Snoop Dogg is in every fucking commercial, so many TV shows, so many movies. This man has more hosting the Olympics. This man has more money than a lot of people. He does not need more money. So there was no reason for him to sell out and go to this fucking thing. So I just want to go through and read. And I want to thank Newsweek, because I was going to sit down and do this myself and go through all the things that Snoop Dogg has said about Donald Trump. But Newsweek did it for me. So thank you. So I think they go back and they might have a secret friendship, but Snoop has contradicted himself numerous times. In 2001, Snoop was at the roast of Donald Trump. And there he said, Donald's saying he wants to run for president and move into the White House. Why not? It wouldn't be the first time you've pushed a black family out of their homes. And then he also said, I wish I had half your money, but for that you need a 20-year-old's pussy and a divorce lawyer. 28th thing, he said he had he went on a show with DJ Sus, and he talked about how he had a strong message for the president, and he deemed him to be his racist supporters, who told the rapper a lot of his fans get upset if the president is criticized on the show. And then Snoop said, fuck Donald Trump. Well, you need to know that a lot of your fans is racist. I don't give a fuck. I tell them straight up. If you like that, I won't say it just because of our audience. I almost said it. If you like that N-word, you motherfucking racist, he said. He also accused Trump of drawing lines of division by pointing motherfuckers out and singling them out during his time in the White House. Before him, there were no lines. Everybody was everybody. We respected everything. We didn't trip. He then took an aim at Kanye West, who was a staunch Trump supporter. Kanye too. Don't forget about him. Fuck you too. Then in 2017, I'm not going to say that, but...
Homie.
Huh?
Homie.
in that case, yeah. But Snoop had a music video and there was a fake Donald Trump in it. And Snoop did something bad to Donald Trump in that video. It was set in an alternate reality, and the video included a clown Trump parody named Ronald Clump appearing on TV and announcing the deportation of all dogs. Later in the video, there was a pew pew involved. 2017, Trump hits back at Snoop Dogg's assassination video. Trump reacted to Snoop's video and posted on Twitter, "Can you imagine what the outcry would be if Snoop Dogg, failing career and all, had aimed and fired the gun at President Obama? Jail time." Then Michael Cohen slammed the video, calling it totally disgraceful. "There's absolutely nothing funny about an assassination attempt on the president. I certainly would not have accepted it if it were Barack Obama. I certainly don't accept it as President Trump. And in all fairness, it's not funny. It's not artistic. And also, why are you bringing Barack Obama into this conversation?" And then in 2024, this is when things started to make a weird move. And Snoop had all kinds of words for Trump after he commuted the death sentence and prison term of Death Row Records founder Michael Harry Harris. On his last day of office, Snoop Dogg had worked with activist Alice Johnson and producer Weldon Angelos to advocate for Harris's release. In January 2024, there was an interview with the British newspaper, the Sunday Times. Snoop said that Trump ain't done nothing wrong to me. He has done only great things for me. He pardoned Michael Harris, so I have nothing but love and respect for Donald Trump. And then people asked Snoop who he voted for. Even though in 2020, Snoop declared he would be voting for the first time to get Donald Trump out of office. Again, this man is, how old is Snoop Dogg?
Old.
53. And he's saying this is him voting for the first time. First time to get Trump out of office. He faced criticism 4 years later for not endorsing a candidate ahead of the election and addressed the issue of a viral post. "I'm not looking for separation. I'm not looking for division. I'm looking for people to come together. And I just want to say this. When all the hoopla was going on with the voting, notice how I was nowhere to be seen. I wanted it to be like that because I don't believe in separating people. I believe in bringing us together. If you're picking and choosing, now I got to make people mad at me because I choose this or that. I don't choose neither one." And he said he didn't represent the Republican or Democratic Party. And then this year, a week ago, Snoop Dogg performs at the inauguration Crypto Ball. He faced criticism for his choice to perform at the ball. It was hosted by incoming White House Al and crypto czar David Sachs. The rapper performed some of his songs, including "Drop It Like It's Hot." The event drew notable guests, including Rick Ross, who also has a ton of money, and other people who, whatever. But you have no excuse. He was there because he wanted to be there. So I hope he gets fired from being the face of the Olympics. Then he can go get work elsewhere since he has so many options.
Yeah, I gauge my instance of how badly do they need the money based on, is Bruno Mars there? Bruno Mars is not there. He allegedly is
in debt to the casinos.
In a lot of debt. Mm-hmm. In like a heist movie level amount of debt. As in like I don't know that, I think he lives there not by choice. Like, it is an insane amount of debt. And if I don't see Bruno Mars performing there, I go, you're not broker than Bruno Mars. Mm-hmm. So no, just no. And like, this just like is such an odd fucking thing for me, like for him to take this like stance with. And like, I was so confused by, and it wasn't even like he wasn't like fucking Katy Perry or like the Foster sisters for Rick Caruso. He was just like it was very much a photo op. It was very much like this looks like Rick Caruso said, let me call up a favor from a friend of a friend and like get that endorsement. And like, it wasn't like a very deep, and it was very surface level. I was like pissed off, but it did not seem that it came from a place of intention and thought. It came from like an obligation of like, oh, friend to friend. not that they're friends, but like same, somebody who knows somebody or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm like, this same thing of all of this is riding on a pardon. And I go, why the fuck are you riding for these doing a good thing for like friends? This is giving Fast and the Furious, family above everything more than any, like it's too much. This is too fucking much. Too fucking much for you to compromise your own morals because someone did one nice thing for a friend. By the way, it's rarely ever even nice. It's like you just know them and you feel obligated. And I literally just looked at his Instagram to see if it checks out. And I will say, he's very good at promoting other people's all of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, you don't have to do this. This is such an like, and to hide like behind like, whatever. It's like at least Carrie Underwood was like, I'm just trying to have us be united all together. You said you had so much to say, and now what?
Mm-hmm.
Now what? And I am curious if anyone who follows, well, not just who follows, someone who regularly watches his Instagram stories. What are his Instagram stories like? Because I have to say, it is giving Khloe Kardashian, fifth Lamar, or fifth Tristan Thompson cheating crash out. He's like reposting quotes. It's like Denzel Washington once said, your own family will talk shit about you and you're in the process of breaking all their generational curses. This ain't for the weak. From like a fucking brand.
He's always posted like that. And I know this because I used to follow him years ago. I haven't followed him in a while. And I unfollowed him because he was just reposting like memes and things.
This literally, the account he shared this from has less than 2,000 likes. And like, it's just such in life, we never lose friends. We only find out who the true ones are. And I have to say, Martha, talk some sense. Please. Talk some goddamn fucking sense. Because you want to talk about, not that he said this, but people being like, I voted for him because he's a good businessman. You know who is such a good businesswoman that got in jail? Martha.
Mm-hmm.
It just makes me like just disappointed because like you said, like he doesn't need the money. And so I'm like, are you such a people pleaser, bend over backwards that like you can't say like, what is this? Or is this like how you feel? But it's such a quick pivot that like, my God.
It was like he pardoned my friend. So now I owe him something? No,
you don't. And that makes me like, not to be like patronizing, it makes me like low key sad. I'm just like, that's such a, how many people you stand for so much more than this. And that's such a sad way to like live your life because you're in Hollywood for this long. So many people are taking advantage of that. Mm-hmm. And like, we're watching that happen right now. And it's to your own reputation's detriment.
Mm-hmm.
What's up, everyone? It's Noah Daniels.
Hey, y'all. I'm JJ.
Hey, guys. It's Kat.
And we're your hosts of the Real Hauntings podcast, where we bring on guests who share their first-hand encounter ghost stories and supernatural experiences. Now on to the trailer.
I've been warned to not tell this story, but I think because of the way it ends, it's okay to tell this story, because some people say that with certain entities, to like speak of them or talk about them or in any way like portray them as powerful will attract them to other people. The creepiest thing about it to me is a lot of times it would wait for me to notice it. Like it would just lay its arm out like this, and then I'd be like, where is it? Where is it? And then I'd see it, and then it would just slither back.
For more information on the Real Hauntings, Real Ghost Stories podcast, make sure you check out real.fm to learn more about our podcast and many other amazing podcasts.
I'm Brennan Storr.
I'm Paul Bestall.
We're the Ghost Story Guys.
And every 2 weeks, we explore first-person stories of encounters with the paranormal from all around the world.
Then we have some fun reacting to those stories. We like to say our goal is to scare the hell out of you, then make you laugh.
Belief in the paranormal is not required. All you need is a love of great storytelling and curiosity about the world around you.
Come find the Ghost Story Guys on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else fine podcasts live, or at ghoststoryguys.com.
All right, your turn.
So mine is like I said when I thought it was my turn, mine is going to be a pivot because all this shit pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
I hate it all. I can say how much I hate it all to the ends of the earth. But I would like to nominate the only other thing that is on my For You page between people saying, I'm finally stopping listening to the toast, which I got, just to touch on that, I would like to know how you were able to excuse all the other things. Like when people are like, whoa. You know, this is too far. I think all of it was a little too far. When she said, I only go to expensive movie theaters because people don't shoot those up. That is a lot. When the girl from Peyton from One Tree Hill was live streaming and then she got assaulted because she was like doing like live streaming from her bedroom, and it was like, well, of course, what did she expect to happen? Like that she deserves it because that's what she did. That's fucking insane. Or you know, the fact that her mother was the one who started the Obama is Muslim. That's from their mom. She started that.
Everything I know about these people is because you told me at some point. So,
and I would like people to use some discernment when you're watching and consuming content for people. And I appreciate when people do that with me. Like, I love that. When people like comment on my shit of being like, how do I know you're not lying? And I go, great, stick with that. I'm not lying. You should think that should be your first instinct. You shouldn't just automatically believe people on the internet. You should like all of that kind of stuff. But like, I forget what it was that I saw. Someone recommended me their podcast to me, and I was like, okay. I started watching, and within one episode, I said, something is afoot. Something is afoot. These girls have a lot of money, and they don't want you to know how much money they have. And this is giving not, I'm relatable. It's giving, my money has secrets. And I said, I got to find it out. It took me an hour. And in that time span, I went from, I think I had followed them on Instagram or something like that. And in the time span of me going, this seems a little sus, they had already messaged me on Instagram being like, oh my God, thanks for the follow. I unfollowed them and they unsent the message because I said, I found out real quickly some shit. So like, it is like, they have not been trying to hide this desperately whatsoever. And like mask has been fully off.
Mm-hmm.
I would, also tell your friends who just like, if they just listen to the episodes and like, especially if they're in like somewhat conservative spaces and they don't know the dog whistles, but I literally used to like try and be like, what are the current dog whistles of women in this age range? I can't. Anyways, I would like to nominate, I don't know if you could call her a TikToker, but she is someone who is getting on TikTok and live streaming. She's online. Her name's Allie Rae. And she is, again, I don't know if you'd call her, I don't know what the threshold of like followers and fans, but it's enough that these videos started going, like getting traction of people discussing this because it's like so royally fucked up. But I cannot find her username anywhere. I think she's already deleted her account and all that. So if you go to like, and just know, as of right now, if you look at someone named Allie Rae official on TikTok, that is not who I'm talking about. So I don't want to like people to find this person and go, oh my God, this is, no. Just, you have to look at, they've deleted theirs. So she is a woman whose baby was in the NICU, and you know, I guess she's known for going on lives and talking about shit, but she's going in lives while she's in the NICU with her newborn. And the video that blew up was a screen recording of her. That's essentially her telling you a little hack you can do, which is unplugging the baby's monitor, which the nurses say to do if there's an emergency because they get the notification that it's unplugged, so then they come there. Doing that and asking them to bring her a turkey sandwich. And I was like, that's so oddly specific. Do you want that? No, so it turns out at this hospital, and a lot of hospitals, I don't know if it's always the same thing, specifically for people after they've given birth, the person who gave the birth, the person who either got cut open or pushed out, the rotation is you essentially get another food because, you know, you couldn't eat before and like you missed lunch, whatever. And it's like the treat you don't get it after surgery. It is specifically for people who have just had babies. They bring them turkey sandwiches and they specifically keep them in the nurse's fridge. And so she said she knows that. And she unplugs it, asks the nurse to bring it to her. And it seems pretty typical that she's done this often. And anytime she needs anything, like she wants something to drink, she wants like whatever, just asking them to bring them to her. And she's like, I know I'm not a patient, but like I kind of am technically. And the nurse's response was like, oh, so clocked that this woman is not this is not okay. This is not safe. being like, oh, you can just like run out and go grab something. Like, you don't have to worry, like, you don't have to worry about it. Like, she'll probably go to bed. Like, she'll like take a nap soon. Like, if you want to like pop out, like stretch your legs and like basically gets her to leave instead of being like, I'm not going to leave this room right now. And I'm also not going to go get you a goddamn fucking turkey sandwich. But then she continues going on, lives and is just like complaining about wanting to be in just like, oh my God, I'm so done with like just focusing on the TikTok lives where the nurses are trying to like tell her like updates with her baby in the NICU and all of that. And it's just like, well, I don't even care if these have got all this. Like, do you know how much money I got from these lives? Like, now I'm famous. I got all this attention. But the rumor at this point is that from what nurses are saying is that if that had happened in their hospital on their shift, their patient, they would have made a report to CPS. So they think that's probably why she's deleted all of her accounts, is that they would feel obligated as a mandated reporter that like that is alarming behavior, especially in the NICU, and to involve somebody else in doing something like that. So it's like, oh, cool. So what would you not want us to see that you're doing or would do? And she said that the nurse told her to unplug it if they need anything. But everybody says, no, that is if it's an emergency and you really need help. So
wow, I hadn't heard about that at all. That is wild. I can't believe that I can't believe that somebody did that. But as somebody who had a family member that was born prematurely and had a lot of health issues, the NICU is such a quiet place, a place where everybody's trying to stay calm. Like, I was in there and I didn't even want to accidentally brush like my shirt against something thinking it would make a noise. The tensions are high. You want to be very calm for everyone there, especially the babies, but also these nurses too that are taking the time to like, it takes a very special nurse to be a NICU nurse because they're seeing so much day in and day out. So to put them under that kind of stress, but also to be going live and making these videos and talking during that while you're in the NICU unit, that is just fucked up.
It insane.
Sickens me to my core.
It's fully insane. And like, it seems like, again, her account, she's wiped her fucking account. And so it's just screen recordings, but like people have screen recordings for when she's pregnant or whatever. And it seems like she is not a good person. And the unfortunate thing with TikTok is the hate watching is like instant gratification. So for like a lot of other platforms, like people hate following or hate watching, it doesn't directly result in like quick money. But like people who go on live and people who fucking hate them, the more people who show up and hate on them, you see how much money you made at the end. You don't see the money a month later. You don't see like it's not like kind of up in the air. Like, that you see the number going up. You see the more ridiculous shit you're saying. It's happening live. That cause and effect. Like, you unfortunately have people like who's that one that Jesse's like obsessed with and they talk about, not in a good way. She just like can't stop, and I don't remember. Everyone's gonna know exactly. Ash Trevino. She's another person who like goes live and just like is like horrible. And like, but because of that, like you have people leaning into doing and saying really horrible shit and bad behavior because you're instantly fucking rewarded for that. So I think that like the alarming part through all of that is like she was doing that seemingly, she was doing crazy, she was saying and doing bad things while pregnant. And then she was getting people who were tuning in to hate watch her all through her pregnancy. And then when she's in the NICU, and I think like if there's a response, if something is bad that you should screen record it and report it, you should do that, but you should not continually check in and like become a regular consumer or watcher of media of someone who's profiting off of being a bad person, because it is contributing to that. Even if you're watching this and you're like, I'm not giving them gifts on live, I'm not doing whatever. I'm like, that number is still reinforcing that she is getting attention while being like shitty like this. If it is so bad, automatically, yes, film it, screen record it, report it, and then don't go back to that, because it's you can say like all the time, like the platform should take them down, whatever, until you stop engaging. If you engage by any means, it is benefiting them. Like it is still enabling that for them to make more money and do whatever. So even saying negative things, it doesn't matter. Like even saying, I don't agree with this, or like, you shouldn't do this.
report,
disengage,
block, and leave.
Yeah. And that's how those people, that's how you tank their RPMs, like all that, like don't participate. Like you're increasing how much money they're making and more people seeing them. And it's doing the exact opposite of what you want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just right now I'm also very much in a big thing of we're not in a time in the country where we can hate watch things willy-nilly, conscious free. It's not that. Watch things. You can watch brain rot content of people who are not enacting harm or voting to enact harm.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still escapism and it's still fun and it's whatever. But you can find those things. They exist out there. You don't have to compromise your morals for your entertainment.
Good way to put it.
So, and might I recommend Traders, a wonderful show. That's if you want to watch stuff like that, watch manufactured stuff like that, or watch Love Island, watch something not here.
All right. Well, that is the end of our episode. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate you joining us. If you'd like to participate, remember that you can send an email to butamiwrongpod@gmail.com. Keep it to 300 words or less. Also, you get to participate by voting. We'll put this up for vote within a week and on our Instagram. And you can not just vote, but also send us a DM with your direct thoughts. And we would love to read them on See You Next Tuesday.
We would. And just because I talk about this person on this, I'll leave you with this. Molly Rudder, 9 hours ago, told us she's deleting TikTok. She's never coming back. She's going to be exclusively on YouTube. She did say she was posting this video and it was only going to be up for 20 minutes and that's it. It was 9 hours ago. But
okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right. Well,
we hope you all enjoyed.
Join us on Tuesday for See You Next Tuesday. We're just going to be chatting. Meghan shared her 2025 predictions. We know they were a little late and some things already did come true, unfortunately, except for one thing, which was fortunate.
Yeah.
And then Wednesday, that's your catch-up day. Get on, listen to things that you missed out. Listen to the Fried Cum episode.
And tell us what we said. Because what the fuck? And also, again, lesbians, so sorry.
As I said.
And also, at the same time, you're welcome.
And then Thursday, we have Don't Blame Me. And Friday, Fisting Friday.
And we will
circle back. Goodbye.
Bye.
This is a Sister Sign production hosted by me, Megan Rinks.
And me, Melissa D. Montz, plus Diamond Imprint Productions.
Post-production by Coco Lorenz.
Production assistance by Melanie D. Watson.
And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso.
Welcome to the small town of Chinook, where faith runs deep and secrets run deeper. In this new thriller, religion and crime collide when a gruesome murder rocks the isolated Montana community. Everyone is quick to point their fingers at a drug-addicted teenager, but local deputy Ruth Vogel isn't convinced. She suspects connections to a powerful religious group. Enter federal agent V.B. Lauro, who has been investigating a local church for possible criminal activity. The pair form an unlikely partnership to catch the killer, unearthing secrets that leave Ruth torn between her duty to the law, her religious convictions, and her very own family. But something more sinister than murder is afoot, and someone is watching Ruth.
Chinook, starring Kelly Marie Tran and Sanaa Lathan. Listen to Chinook wherever you get your podcasts.
Astrology girlies know that the last time Pluto was in Aquarius, it kicked off a century of cultural change. I'm talking about the American Revolution, the French Revolution, the Haitian Revolution, other revolutions that maybe you haven't heard of because they didn't actually have success, but the revolutionary spirit was in the air in the 1700s. And in 2024, guess what? Pluto's back in Aquarius. So what better time than now to reconsider this past revolutionary era and the woman most associated with it, Marie Antoinette. My name is Anne Foster, the host of Vulgar History, a feminist women's history comedy podcast. In our new season, we'll talk about women from all walks of life who lived during this previous era of revolution, from the enslaved to the royal, to answer the question, how do you solve a problem like Marie Antoinette? Vulgar History Marie Antoinette begins on May 15th. Listen to Vulgar History wherever you get podcasts.